Hello my friends and welcome back to Slay the Spire 2. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're jumping back in with the Regent to try out the new changes. This character got the most balance changes of any of the characters in the recent patch. If you aren't seeing the patch, you can opt into it. It's currently in beta, or you can stay on the old version if you prefer. But we're going to try out the new changes. The main focus of the changes was making it harder to just go infinite. And also to tone down glow, which was very overpowered. So we're going to see how it plays out after those changes and see how we're going to be strategizing as we continue. I'm on Ascension 8 because I'm just still climbing the Ascension levels with this character, but as I prepare to do a guide for beating it on Ascension 10, so let's jump in. So looking at these Neow buffs, remove a card from your deck, always good. Booming Conch, I'm not like a huge fan of this. Obviously, drawing extra cards at the start of every elite combat is really powerful, and this buff lasts the entire run, so it's really nice there. But you should probably try to structure your deck so that you don't need this, and it's better, I think, to take a Neow buff that really helps with that goal, rather than specifically helping you fight elites. Precise Scissors, always going to be good. This is just a generically pretty powerful buff. Removing a card is always good. Silver Crucible is one that I previously said I didn't like, but I've kind of come around on it. This gives you a lot of early game tempo by giving you some pretty powerful buffs. So let me look at the options for our pathing, because if we have a difficult early path, then the Crucible can really help. So I'm looking at, like, for example, this path where we could get 3 upgraded cards, take a rest, upgrade a 4th card, and then do an elite fight. And that could be pretty nice. It does mean that we hit 2 shops early, but depending on what we get from those shops, that might still be fine. Or we could potentially branch off to the other side. So I think we're going to go with Silver Crucible, and now let's go ahead and actually look at the paths in a little more detail. So going to the left here, we could do 3 fights event, or 1 fight event, 2 fights. Basically the same. Then we would hit a campfire, and then it's either a bunch of fights or a bunch of hard mode hallway fights to the left. So I really don't love this left-hand path. So I think we're pretty much always going to be going to the right here. So let's go ahead and start that. Basically, especially because the Gloom Ascension, the Ascension 6, now makes you less likely to see question mark rooms. So you're going to have more combats. It's even more important to delay the hard mode combats till later in the floor, especially in Act 1. Alright, so here I'm going to take 1 damage in order to double strike this enemy, so that hopefully on the following turn we can kill this one, stunning the other one, and still do some damage to it. The Corpse Slugs, I think, tend to be a fairly difficult encounter, so I want to make sure that I can do as much damage as possible to them and kill them quickly so that we don't take as much damage in return. Now, we did get a slightly weak shuffle here where we're missing we weren't able to hit this enemy and do damage to the other one. We can at least do Falling Star and then Venerate and get the Ascender's Bane out of here. We'll probably take 1 fairly substantial hit this turn, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take 3 damage here, because we missed on our Falling Star again, but then we should be able to win this fight. I think that the Corpse Slugs are like the hardest enemy to get in the first room. You're always going to take a little damage there, so we took 4. There might have been a way I could arrange to take a little less than that, but that seemed pretty good overall. Alright, looking at our options here, I'm not thrilled by any of them. Knockout Blow can be okay in the early game, obviously it gets you a lot of stars, but 3 is very expensive. Refined Blade, I think, is pretty good. This gives you back the energy and sets up a decent way to get into the Sovereign Blade stuff, which has gotten buffed in the most recent patch, so is a little bit better now. And Cosmic Indifference, unupgraded, I'm not a huge fan of this card. Upgraded, it's kind of nice, because it's just a 9 block card, which the Regent really struggles to find block, and being able to put a card on top of your draw pile is pretty powerful. So I think I'm going to take the Indifference here. I think it's between these 2 cards. But just getting 1 decent blocking card early helps a lot. Alright, let's go fight the Sea Punk. Immediately rewarded. do I want to put, with Cosmic Indifference helping us take 0 damage here, do I want to put any of these on top? I think we do want to put Strike on top of the deck, so I'm just going to go ahead and do Strike, Indifference, Defend. And then here I can go with Defend, Defend, Strike. And we can reroll here and go Falling Star, Strike, and Venerate. So that way we got a few extra strikes in our rotation. We can't damage it this turn, but I can go Defend and Cosmic Indifference, and I can put Falling Star back on top because it's our best card overall. Sadly, getting all of these strikes in this rotation where the enemy is shielded is going to make it a little bit harder, but we should still be able to kill this enemy with no damage, I believe. Then we can go Defend, Defend, and Strike, and then all we need is 1 damage card, and we've killed the Sea Punk for free. Alright, here we have Solar Strike. This is basically, you're always looking for, in the early game, at least 1 and often 2 cards that are just better strikes. So something that just does 10 or 11 damage for 1 energy will help you have enough damage in your deck to kill some of the more difficult enemies in the early game. Solar Strike is an okay version of this. It's a very typical version where it's just 10 damage and an upside. 2 stars is pretty good. We do want additional stars. Crush Under is great, I think, especially upgraded. This is a very powerful tool. AoE damage is pretty important in Slay the Spire 2, and causing enemies to lose strength comes up in a lot of fights. Celestial Might, I haven't been a huge fan of this card, so we're just going to take Crush Under. Alright, here I'm going to go to the shop mostly to avoid taking 4 fights and getting a fight from the more difficult pool, but maybe there's also good stuff in this shop, or of course we can always just remove a strike. Looking at our options here, Dark Shackles is a pretty good defensive card, and Patter I actually like quite a bit, though we don't need it as much given that we have our Cosmic Indifference already. Collision Course I've also been extremely impressed with since it was buffed. 0 cost 11 damage is really strong, and the fact that at worst this is just a 1 cost 11 damage card, still pretty good. So what we're going to do here, I think, is we're going to just remove a strike, and I'm going to buy Cosmic Indifference just to help us get through the early game a little bit more smoothly. Yes, it costs 50, which is a real cost, but I've been super impressed with this card as an early tempo pick. Alright, so here we are going to fight the Toad Poles. So, Crush Under immediately showing its value here as well, because we get to do 8 damage to each enemy, so 16 damage, and it reduces the incoming damage by 2, so now we take 0 after playing just the 1 defend. I've had a couple people say they like killing the left-hand Toad Pole instead of the right-hand one, which had been what I was doing. So I'm going to try that out and see if it helps us take no damage here. And then it looks like it will in this case. So let's go with, I want to redraw, what do I want to redraw? Probably Collision Course, but I can't play it before Cosmic Indifference oh no, I only have 2 energy worth of cards. So let's play Defend. We'll Collision Course, killing this one and taking no damage from the Thorns. And then I'm going to play Cosmic Indifference to redraw Collision Course. And we'll play Falling Star, and we'll play Debris. And then I just need to draw into any Defend, and we can kill this enemy for no damage. Because again, it's got these 2 Thorns. We need to play a defensive card before we kill it, but we were able to do so. So that worked out very well, and you can see why I think that Cosmic Indifference is quite powerful. Or Collision Course is quite powerful. Alright, so looking at this shop, this is not a great set of rewards. Normally these would all be fine. Wrought in War is another sort of Strike Plus card, another way into the Sovereign Blade thing. Solar Strike I already talked about, and Crescent Spear is 1 cost for 12 damage with Crescent Spear Plus, right? Because it itself costs stars, and you always have Falling Star, so it's at minimum 1 cost for 12 damage. And then, of course, we'll get better as we add more cards with star costs to the deck. So I'm deciding between Solar Strike as a way to just gain stars, which we do need, and we currently don't have, and Crescent Spear, and I think I'll take Solar Strike just to enable the powerful star synergies that this character can get later on. I could go for an event or a rest. Let's, I guess, just go for a rest here, and I will upgrade a card. And I'm going to upgrade Collision Course. 0 cost for 15 damage is incredibly efficient. So upgrading that card I like a lot. And then we'll go fight this elite. 16 incoming damage. I'm going to use at least 1 dexterity potion for sure. If I use 2, I can block all of the damage just with 2 defends. So I think I will just do that. Pretty expensive to use 2 dex potions here. But this, I think, is one of the more dangerous elites for us because our overall damage output isn't that fast. And it gets consistently super powerful as you take a long time killing the terror eel. So I'm just going to use potions here so we can conserve our health. And then here, you can do Crush Under, take 0 damage. Which is kind of fun. Crush Under, again, showing why I like this card quite a bit. And here, do I have enough damage to to stun the enemy here? No, not even close. So we're always doing that, and I guess I'm always playing these defensive cards. So let's go Cosmic Indifference and Defend. And then do I want to play Solar Strike, Debris, or Venerate? I guess I'm never playing Venerate because it's just worse than Solar Strike. So let's just play this. We'll leave the Debris in the deck. Oh, and I actually take 0 damage because I used my Dex potions there. And then here we can again go Collision Course, Crush Under, Strike. And I'm starting to get a lot of Debris in the deck, but I think I can still just do 1 more Strike. We'll have turns where we can play the Debris without it really costing us anything. So now we're going to have a big hit incoming. I don't quite have enough damage to block all of it, or to kill the enemy before we take a hit. So we're just going to go Defend and Strike. And I don't need to play Venerate this turn. I guess it doesn't actually matter what I play this turn, because we're always killing the enemy on the next turn here. And Stable Serum will let us retain our hand. Fencing Manual. At the start of each combat, forge 10. So this is really nice, because now we don't have to dedicate a card to getting the Sovereign Blade in hand. Obviously, if we get cards that synergize with it, it's great. But this just gives us a really powerful retain card. 2 costs for 20 damage is something we'll be happy to have in our hand at all times. Fencing Manual, I think, is a really strong artifact overall. Alright, so Photon Cut I do like a lot. Being able to cycle through your deck is really powerful. Refine Blade, of course, still very good, but I'm going to take Black Hole. I think that this is the core of the Star Generation and Spending deck, which is kind of the Regent's basic deck that you should usually be trying to get into, and because it does AoE damage again, Black Hole is often very powerful. Let's go to the shop. We won't be able to buy anything probably. Actually, I guess we can afford Glitter Stream if I want it. Given that I already have Cosmic Indifference, I'm less interested in spending money on a block card, and I don't really want to add just like a medium unupgraded defensive card to the deck. Orbit I would probably buy. I love Orbit. It just gives you so much more energy on this character. And of course, we would always remove a card. But this shop was basically just a wasted tile for us. All right, so I could take 2 events and then a fight, or an elite and then a fight, and then either a fight and an elite. I think I'm going to go to the right here. This is just a little more fighting than I like with 41 health, and a deck that's not incredible currently. So we'll see what our relic is, and maybe we can upgrade our deck a bit from these events. I really dislike adding injury to the deck. Are we strong enough to fight the 2 punch constructs? This is an extremely difficult fight, but I think we can do it. One part of the reason it's so tough for this character in particular, of course, is that they have the artifacts negating our debuffs, which mean negating our debuffs from Falling Star. So we can't apply weakness. They'll get the vulnerable, but they'll block the weakness. So we will always take extra damage there. So which one do I want to hit? I guess I'm trying to kill this one because it's not blocking next turn. So I'm probably going to be damaging it most of all. And I could play Triple Defend, and that would block all the incoming damage. I could play Sovereign Blade while the enemy has Vulnerable on it. That's probably correct in order to minimize the incoming damage. And then do I just take 14 here to play Strike? If I do, then we have Collision Course that kills it in one go. Crush Under would work very well to likely kill it in one hit. I think I'm going to play the Defend, though, because we should draw another piece of damage alongside Collision Course if we draw it, and that's probably the most likely way for us to win this fight. So here, I'm going to go Collision Course for sure. Solar Strike, killing this enemy, and then Cosmic Indifference. And I will put, I guess, Collision Course back on top. And then play a Defend to block all the incoming damage. Alright, 10 damage incoming, and I can't stop any of it. So we'll play all of our cards here. So we'll play Venerate, and we'll play Collision Course, and we'll play... Do I want to play a Strike or a Debris? We're already getting the Ascender's Bane out of the deck, so I think we can just let the deck get kind of junked up with Debris at this point. And then here I should have enough damage to kill the enemy. No, because we're weakened. So let's always Collision Course, and I'm always going to play Solar Strike, and then Crush Under. We don't have quite enough damage. So let's play Cosmic Indifference, putting Collision Course back on top, and that way we should be able to kill it next turn, hopefully. And we can go Falling Star and Collision Course. And we took a lot of damage there, of course, because that's a very difficult encounter, but we do have an upcoming rest area before we have to take another fight, so we can do that. Sure, Bottled Potential, this is a pretty good potion. Every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain 1 strength. Well, we have a lot of 0-cost attacks, so Shuriken will probably trigger, like, once a combat for us, which is not bad. I don't like Prophesize very much. It's so expensive for card draw, but given that we have a Solar Strike, I think we can get away with Astral Pulse, so I will take that. And more AoE damage is pretty helpful here as well. All right. Oh, right. We don't get a Relic, of course, because we took the Crucible. Here we have to rest because we took a bunch of damage against the Punch Constructs, and then we're going to go here. 12 damage from the Fossil Stalker. Really unlucky to roll into a hard pool fight in our random event as well. Here, so I have a choice between Astral Pulse and Falling Star. We'll start with Falling Star, and I could Sovereign Blade for 30, and there's no way I could draw into 18 damage with the Bottled Potential. Actually, maybe I can. So, because we have a lot of 0-cost attacks. So let's do that, and I'm going to just shuffle here. And then if I draw, if I had happened to draw into Collision Course, we'd have killed this enemy for sure. But as is, we can use Cosmic Indifference. We're basically using the potion there to prevent 4 damage, which is not an amazing use of a potion, but given our health, I think it made sense to do that. All right, and then here, don't need any of these cards. We already have lots of ways to spend stars, so Gamma Blast, while a pretty solid card, isn't what we're looking for. We already have an upgraded Crush Under, and Spectrum Shift is really bad, so we're going to skip on all of those. Well, we already took out 2 Punch Constructs, so hopefully 1 Punch Construct is not that big a deal. Just go ahead and do as much damage as we can. Though we did get a really awkward shuffle there, where we had all of our defensive cards in our opening hand. Maybe I was supposed to use the Stable Serum, actually, because now we're taking 9. And a potion for 9 health is a pretty good deal. So I actually should have thought about that more. Just because we had such a bad opening shuffle. I'll get the Black Hole set up. It's only 3 less damage than the Strike if I play Solar Strike this turn, and might make the difference between killing the enemy in 1 turn or 0. And then, sure, we can just do that and kill it. Alright, so Heavenly Drill is pretty cool if we have ways to generate energy. This is a huge amount of damage. Summon Forth, I also like a lot if we are building around the Sovereign Blade. So this would take our Sovereign Blade up to a 28 damage card and let us redraw it pretty frequently. But I think for this run, we don't have ways to generate energy currently. And Summon Forth, it doesn't do anything when you cast it. So I think I'm going to skip on all of these cards and try to make ourselves a little bit stronger before we fill our deck with cards that just don't do very much. One of the easiest ways to lose in this game is to junk up your deck with cards that don't contribute block or attack when you cast them. And so we need to make sure that we're not letting our deck fill up with too many of those, and we already have a decent number of them. So there, I'll play that. I'll play Crush Under for sure. The enemy can't lose any more health this turn, but we need to play that, and then I guess I'll play Solar Strike, gaining some more stars. I could use the Stable Serum here, just to avoid redrawing the strike, but Sovereign Blade already retains, so we don't need to do that. And then here I can play Sovereign Blade, Astral Pulse, and I'll Cosmic Indifference back. Let's see, what's our most powerful card? I have zero. Most powerful card in the deck is Falling Star, but we have no stars currently. So let's put Crush Under on top to try to reduce its strength while continuing to damage it. And then we can do this, this, and this. This enemy was changed, so it now has more damage, and it can only take 15 damage per turn, which does make this enemy a lot more difficult overall. Actually, maybe I was supposed to use the Stable Serum there just to ensure that I had 15 damage. As is, it didn't matter. We're able to kill it anyways, but I, again, should have thought about using my potion a little harder than I did. Gorget is great. This character can struggle with block, so adding Gorget will give us just a lot more leeway when setting up our deck in the early turns. Crash Landing, this is a pretty powerful tool. We already have Crush Under for AoE damage, though, so I don't know that we need that. Pale Blue Dot I like a lot as well if we have things like Orbit that let us play multiple cards. But as is, we're not that likely to. I think I have to take Crash Landing here, which I'm not that happy about, but this deck is pretty weak at the moment, so I really need ways to add damage to the deck. And then here, I was very much hoping for this shop to give us more of a direction. As is, I could go for Discovery. That would be kind of funny. There are some neat cards that you can get off of Discovery that can be extremely powerful. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and remove a strike just to make the deck more consistent overall. And then we're going to go to the rest area, and we'll try to fight the boss. We're still kind of looking for some key direction pieces for the deck, but we should be able to find those as we continue to push through the levels. I have only one card that I want to set up in advance, but gaining more stars before this thing wakes up I think is totally fine. So let's go ahead and just end turn there, and we're basically hunting for Black Hole to set that up. I'm just going to pass again. We are losing plating is the one downside of this setup. But this way we get to get our Black Hole set up and get Ascender's Bane out of the deck before the Matriarch wakes up. So delaying the start of this combat to set up your powers and just make you stronger overall is usually correct. Alright, so here I'm going to go for the skill potion, and let's take Bulwark. This can block a lot of the incoming damage and makes my Sovereign Blade stronger, and probably that's going to be the way that we're going to try to win this fight. And then here I'm just going to play Cosmic Indifference, putting Bulwark back on top, so I can make my Sovereign Blade super strong. And then I will play the Sovereign Blade. Do I want to use Stable Serum? I think not. We can wait till next turn to do that. This turn, we have 18 incoming damage. I can block most of it with Bulwark, so I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll just play Bulwark, defend. And here I'm going to use the stable serum, so I can keep Solar Strike in hand. Now we've got Falling Star, weakening the enemy, and then we can start playing a couple more of my most powerful attacking cards. Crush Under, and then I need some sort of block, probably. I could keep the defend or leave the defend. I'm going to play Astral Pulse as well while the enemy's vulnerable. So I could play Strike or Defend this turn. We've already triggered our Shuriken once, but if I play it again, we trigger Shuriken again, going up to +2 strength. I think that's worth taking 7 damage for. Because having +2 strength just makes us so much more powerful and makes it so much easier to win this combat. Here, we don't have Retain, but I can go Solar Strike, Collision Course, and then I'm going to play these 2 Debris, because I don't want them to stick around in the deck. And I've now made my Sovereign Blade 40 damage, so we're getting pretty close to being able to just kill the enemy right away. Let's go ahead and play Astral Pulse, play Cosmic Indifferent, redrawing Collision Course is 0 for 15, or I could redraw Crash Landing as just a really powerful damaging card. I guess Collision Course, because that plus Sovereign's Blade should be enough damage to kill the Matriarch, alongside any other damaging card. I didn't find any ways to create stars, though, so currently that's... oh, no, I did the math wrong there. I thought that was 65 damage, it's only 55, because I did my addition badly. But we will still go Crush Under, Sovereign's Blade, and Collision Course, putting the enemy down to 7. And while this deck is somewhat weak in the early game, we got through the first boss fight, and now we should be able to use whatever rare we get here to give us a little bit more of a direction in terms of how we're building the deck. Alright, Heirloom Hammer, I think, is still quite poor. This can copy any colorless card, but the only one we have in our deck right now is Sovereign Blade. And copying that is so expensive. You need to spend 2 on the hammer and then 2 on each Sovereign Blade in order to make that good. 7 stars, I love this card. If you can get enough stars to trigger it, it's incredibly powerful. Currently, we only have Venerate and Solar Strike to make it work, though. So we're just going to take Big Bang, which is just always amazing. This is just like Adrenaline for the Silent, in that it's just pure upside. You're just always happy to have this card in your deck. So we're very happy to take that and improve our deck overall. And jumping in for Act 2, let's see what the Ancient has for us. We've got remove 2 cards. That's pretty good. We currently are really struggling in terms of card removal, and being able to get these 2 strikes out would take us down to a very narrow 15 card deck, which would be great. Obtain a curse and 3 relics. I am okay with Calling Bell here, but I feel like there's usually better things that you can grab from the Ancient. And in this case, I think that the Sealed Throne is one of the best rewards that you can get for the Regent. This gives you effectively infinite stars, so it's going to let us take any of those cards that cost stars and cast them very easily. And combined with having gotten Black Hole, this will deal constant damage. Now, every single card that we cast after playing Sealed Throne is going to deal 3 damage to all enemies. So now, as I said, our boss card, our rare card from the boss, and our first Ancient Relic, now we've got a plan. So we're very excited to take Sealed Throne here. Let's look at which way we can go. So I could take 2 fights and then an elite. I could take 2 fights, a shop, and then an elite. Of these, I kind of like this better because I do want to take 1 shop and try to remove 1 more strike from the deck. And then, would we have 125 to hit the second shop? We might. So I'd kind of like the left-hand path here. We get only 1, 2 hard pool basic fights, which, again, I'm always trying to avoid these hallway fights as much as possible, because they're almost as difficult as the elite fights with significantly less reward. For that reason, I'm probably not going down this central path. There's just not much that's drawing me to any of these central paths. So let's look at the right-hand path, and I could go over here. That would be 2 more hallway fights and no shop. So yeah, looks like we're going to the left here. All right, 17 incoming damage from the Thieving Hopper this turn, so I'm going to take some damage, but we can play Sealed Throne, defend, defend, and we'll only take 3 here. Thanks to our Gorget. Now, it did take Black Hole, which is pretty awkward for us. Let's go ahead and play Crash Landing, because I want to do as much damage to it as I possibly can, and this way we want to play it first to minimize the number of debris that we're putting in the deck. And then we can play Astral Pulse for a little bit more damage, and Sovereign Blade or Crush Under. I guess I'll just do Crush Under, and I'll play a Debris just to get it out of the deck here. And Sovereign Blade we can potentially play next turn. And then this turn, I'll start with Big Bang. So this is going to be plus energy, draw a card, and gain 2 stars. Again, thanks to Sealed Throne. And let's go with Falling Star, weaken and vulnerable on the enemy. Collision Course. Notice that, of course, it does take half damage because it has Flutter here. And what do I want back on top? Probably just Crash Landing again. So I'll go Cosmic Indifference back, Crash Landing for the maximum amount of damage. And then I will Sovereign Blade for 19 damage to it. Play Defend here. And I guess it doesn't really matter what I Cosmic Indifference back. We get to kill it. So we took a little bit of chip damage in that fight, but nothing major. Got our Black Hole back, which of course we want. And let's see what else it has for us. So Royal Gamble, this is a way to gain a lot of additional stars, but we don't really need that so much. Be Gone is a card I really like having because it lets you turn status cards or like defends and strikes that you don't want in your deck into card draw. And 1 energy for 6 damage and draw a card is a totally reasonable effect. Alongside the fact that because we have Sealed Throne, this is basically the old version of Glow, where we gain, or I guess the new version of Glow, where we gain 2 stars and draw 1 card, and then also get to remove a card. So I will take 1 Be Gone here, and then we're going to go take this fight as well. I do need a little bit more in the way of defenses. I definitely want to pick up something else that helps me block damage in the early game, or in the early turns of fights. Let's play Sealed Throne. We'll draw a card here. I'll play Black Hole. And I'll play Defend, Strike, Astral Pulse. And we'll take 4 damage. And then this turn, we'll start with Falling Star. We'll go Crush Under. Go Sovereign Blade, probably. That'll just win the fight right away. Speed Potion, that's fine. It can help in the early game. I like Know Thy Place a lot, but I really like Upgraded Orbit. This only costs 1, and as you spend energy, you'll get that energy back. So as we cycle through our deck, which we probably will pretty frequently, we're going to be able to play way more cards when we have Orbit. So definitely going to take that. And then I'll go to the shop here. Can either just remove a strike, or if there's something better. Oh no, I've already done 2 card removals, so I forgot that. Apologies for that. Cloak of Stars is a pretty good way to gain additional block. Parry was newly buffed as well, and can be pretty good because we now have Sovereign Blade in our opening hand every time. So if I have Parry, that can give me potentially 8 block while playing the Sovereign Blade. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to take Glow. It cycles through the deck, and I think even nerfed, this card is still pretty good, just giving you access to more cards. And I'll take Cloak of Stars as well, because we have Sealed Throne, so we have effectively infinite stars, and the ability to block more damage is something that we're really looking for. Alright, so here you can lose, I think it's 20 HP to get the Polonus Core, at the Colossal Flower, and that will draw you extra cards every 3 turns, which is really good, but our HP is a little low, so here I'm just going to take the gold, I think. And then we'll go ahead and go to the Elite fight. We'll start, of course, with Sealed Throne, and then we're going to go with Big Bang, trying to draw a card. I am regretting having this Crash Landing in the deck, by the way, because while it was a fairly powerful tool in a couple fights, it's pretty weak now, and we almost never want to play it because it junks up our deck so much. I currently have no blocking cards, so I'm going to play Glow in the hopes of drawing into something that gives us some defenses. And then we'll play Collision Course here, gaining the energy back. I'm deciding whether I want to use a Dexterity Potion just for 5 block, and I kind of think I do, just to prevent a bunch of damage incoming, and Dexterity Potions I don't think are typically super valuable. Here I can go Venerate and Debris or Sovereign Blade, and let's just try to end the fight a little faster. We'll just play the Sovereign Blade. Take 8 damage there. Then this turn I can play Orbit, which I'll definitely play. I will play Cosmic Indifference for sure. The question is, do I want to cast Begone to get rid of one of these strikes, or do I want to play Crush Under? Oh wait, no, I can do both, because I can, this enemy gives you energy back. So we'll play Crush Under, reducing its attack, and then I will play Begone, transforming this strike into a minion strike. I actually should have done that in the other order as well, because maybe I wanted to play Defend instead of Crush Under, or whatever I drew. And then I'll play Cosmic Indifference, and what do I want to put back on top of the deck here? Probably just another Begone to try to cycle through the deck a little more, and also to make it more powerful overall. Then we take 2, and notice that we have 1 tick of Orbit, so we're going to get our energy right away. And so here, I'm going to start with Begone, and I'll transform the Ascender's Bane. We should have enough energy to play everything, so I could transform Strike, but we'll transform the Ascender's Bane. I'll play Falling Star, get the enemy vulnerable, and I need to get my energy back here as well, but let's play that to redraw. We'll play Strike, Cloak of Stars, and Defend. Take a little bit more chip damage here. Finally drew into our Black Hole, which is what we've been hoping, which of course is how this deck functions, is having Black Hole in play. So nice to draw into it at last. Let's also play Begone, and we'll transform one of these Defends. Draw the Minion Strike. We'll play Glow, drawing a card. I'll play Astral Pulse, Defend, and Cloak of Stars for even more damage. 26 damage incoming from the enemy this turn. So let's start with... I will do the Vulnerable Potion. I think I do need that. And I can play Solar Strike here. And Strike, getting the energy back. And then I'll play Cosmic Indifference, doing some blocking. And let's keep drawing into Begone to try to keep cycling through the deck. This turn, I'm going to play Debris, getting rid of it, and we'll play Venerate. And yeah, I'm really regretting having the Crash Landing in the deck. Every time I've drawn it, it's been really bad. So I was experimenting with that card. I think that experiment was not a success. Play that for 24 damage, and we'll play that for 39 damage, and then we can turn the Debris from the Collision Course into something else. Now we can take some gold. Radiant Tincture for extra energy. We'll take the Shovel. This is a really good relic if you get it early. Now, currently, our HP is low enough that we're going to have to rest at the next rest site, but Shovel can be pretty useful. I'll definitely take another Black Hole. Having 2 of these could help us just wipe out a ton of enemies. Here, we're going to rest, because I need that HP back, because we took a lot of hits against the Infected Prism. And we have also 2 more, at least one more Elite fight coming up, and then a choice between the second one and a shop, which we'll decide when we get there. Alright, so this turn, let's go Sealed Throne into Big Bang. into... What else do I want? I can play the Sovereign Blade, and I guess I'll do that. And then I could Cosmic Indifference back Sovereign Blade, which seems fine. It retains, so drawing the Sovereign Blade is never terrible. Here I have Solar Strike plus Astral Pulse is not quite enough damage to kill the enemy. Astral Pulse plus Sovereign Blade is 49, which is still not quite enough damage to kill the enemy, unfortunately. But we'll still just go with this, and... I could play Glow, which, if I was doing that, I should have played it first in case we drew into Falling Star. So let's go with Glow here, and we'll see what we draw. Alright, this is a spot where Crash Landing is pretty good, because I can now kill this enemy and do a bunch of damage to the other one, if I want to. And then I would be taking some damage from these Toxics. So... still think that's better. So we're going to go Crash Landing, put a bunch of debris in the deck. We don't care that much about that. I'll Solar Strike, killing that Might. And then I could use the Radiant Tincture to take 5 less damage from Toxics. I think trading this potion for 5 health is fine in this spot. And then here I can go Black Hole, Collision Course, and Sovereign Blade, and just end the fight. Alright, so another Glow. That's pretty good for cycling through our deck and drawing a bunch of extra cards. I could take Guiding Star for the same reason. This is draw 3 cards next turn and also does damage, which is good for a number of reasons. One, doing damage is good, and the second is that it also can trigger our Shuriken. So I think I will take Guiding Star here, just to give some more card draw to the deck. Then we're going to go get a Relic here, and we get Centennial Puzzle, more card draw, which is still exactly what we're looking for. And here, I think I will dig Relic. That might mean that I have to take this shop instead of the second Elite fight, depending on how much damage we take. But there's a lot of Relics. Okay, well, that was a bad one to get. But there's a lot of Relics that could have been very helpful in that next fight. This is going to be kind of a rough fight in general, just because we do have a lot of actual attacks, so we're going to be putting a lot of dazes into the deck, but the Black Holes should help us do damage to this enemy without taking too much in return. I do wish I had my my Crush Under in hand this turn, because we would be able to reduce its strength by a lot. Sadly, we can't do that. So we're taking a fairly substantial hit this turn. Let's look at what blocking options we have for the 18 incoming damage. Currently, basically none. So we'll start with Orbit. So I'm going to want to get that set up. I'll play Begone, and I'm just going to transform this Crash Landing. I really dislike having it. I will put a couple dazes into the deck to be able to play a little bit more damage here. And then I'm going to go ahead and play Defend. I could play Guiding Star or Glow, but I do want to try to conserve my health at this point in the fight. Alright, now we can play Black Hole. Here's the Crush Under. We'll play Solar Strike, and that should deal 12 damage off of the Black Holes, which is great. And do I want to play Sovereign Blade, or keep it in hand? I think it's fine to just play it this turn. We'll play Cloak of Stars for, again, 12 more damage. And then this turn, I can go Big Bang, drawing into something, play Falling Star, play Astral Pulse, and we kill the enemy, and we have 21 health remaining. Parrying Shield, we should usually try to have 10 blocks, so that's going to be fine. And then this turn, Super Massive, so that can work with our Crash Landing. We're going to be creating debris, and we'll be creating... Begone doesn't count because it transforms, it doesn't create. But we'll be creating debris with Crash Landing and with Collision Course. So Supermassive could be a pretty big attack there. Arsenal works still just with our Sovereign Blade. That's our only colorless card, so we don't want that. And the Cosmic Indifference unupgraded, I think we're just going to skip. So I'm just going to skip those cards. All right. Here, there's a bunch of interesting options that we could get. Defect cards, I think, tend not to be that great for other classes because they often interact with orbs. Ironclad cards tend towards attacks, though there's a couple defensively oriented cards that we'd be very happy to have, because right now this deck just wants blocking effects. But I think I'm going to take silent cards. There's a lot of weakness and card draw available to the silent, which is exactly what we're looking for, so we'll take that. Anticipate could be pretty good. Also, by the way, when you get this event, you should always skip all 3 card options at first, so you can see all of the options and decide which ones you're going to take. I'm definitely going to be taking Well-Laid Plans. And then here I could take Burst. Abrasive is kind of interesting. We don't have any way to trigger Sly, but Dexterity is good. But Burst, I think, could work really well with some of the skills that we have. Bursting Big Bang, bursting even just Glow, all of that's pretty good. Bursting Cosmic Indifference just for 9 more block, totally reasonable. So I'm definitely taking Burst, and I'm definitely taking Well-Laid Plans. That's 2 really strong cards. The question here is, do I want Anticipate? 2 Dexterity is pretty good, but it is just 1 more card that we're adding to the deck. It does work with our Sealed Throne to create a star when we play it as well. Let's give Anticipate a try. I wasn't expecting to take all 3 cards there, but I think that it makes a fair amount of sense to do so. Alright, so here, there's nothing in particular that I want to buy from this shop, though thinking ahead wouldn't be bad. So let's just go ahead and remove another strike so we can draw into our good cards more often. And then we're going to go ahead and take this last fight against the Obscura. Alright, so -1 for Anticipate, by the way. It's garbage this turn. But we'll play Sealed Throne. And play Solar Strike, gaining some stars. I'll play Fallen Star. I guess the Anticipate does let us play Astral Pulse this turn by just generating a star, which isn't nothing, but any other card would have done that as well. Do I want to play Crash Landing just to kill the Paraphrite here? Because I could do that, and I think that actually makes sense. So we're going to go Orbit, Black Hole, Crash Landing. And yeah, I put a bunch of debris into my hand, but now we've got our 2 powers set up. And then this turn, I should be able to generate enough stars. I should be able to generate 7 stars this turn with Cloak of Stars and Glow both existing. So this should be 6 damage to all enemies just by casting Glow. And then I can play Cloak of Stars, blocking some damage. That's 6 more damage to all enemies because it generates 1 and spends 1. So Black Hole works when you spend or gain. Similarly, Venerate is 6 to all enemies. But let's go Guiding Star, and we'll hit the Obscura. And then, I guess I'll play Venerate, and I'll play Defend here. Try to block all the incoming damage. So very clean Obscura fight this turn, which is pretty fun. Yeah, I'll go for Burst into Big Bang, giving me a bunch of extra energy here. Play the Black Hole, and I'll play Crush Under, winning the fight. Get our Dex Potion back, and then none of these I'm particularly interested in, and then we'll go to the rest area. I would love to be able to dig, but unfortunately I do have to rest, though we do get a random potion when we rest as well. Now let's go fight the boss here. Fighting the Knowledge Demon. I think that this is the hardest Act 2 boss by a pretty significant margin, because it puts a lot of pressure on your blocking effects. Let's definitely drink the Dexterity Potion. We're always going to be doing that. And I'm going to play Sealed Throne, Black Hole, and I suppose it doesn't really matter what else I play. Play the Cosmic Indifference here. Here, I am going to take Disintegration over Mind Rot, I think. I'll probably take some damage, especially this turn, as a result of that decision. Though we drew into Falling Star, which is great. and Crush Under to reduce the incoming damage, but usually I prefer Disintegration because you're just trying to kill this enemy as fast as possible. And so I'll play that. I'll play Big Bang, drawing a card. I'll play Glow, and I want to draw a card again. And then this turn I can play, or this cycle I can play Crush Under. I can play Cloak of Stars, and we have 6 damage with, we have 17 damage with 12 block. So I could either play the Sovereign Blade, or I could go Venerate Strike. It's actually not clear which is better, right? Because Venerate, this is 6 damage off of Black Hole, and Strike is 9 damage. So Sovereign Blade is more damage overall. And takes advantage of the fact that the enemy's vulnerable this turn. So we'll just go ahead and play the Sovereign Blade. Then we're going to take 5, which is fine. This turn, I have Anticipate and 0 blocking cards. So, again, -1 for Anticipate. Do I want to start with Crash Landing to play it while minimizing the number of bad draws that I have? I think not. I think I'm going to go Black Hole. I'll play Be Gone and just get rid of Crash Landing. I really need to just remove that from the deck. It's a dead draw every time. And then I'll play Minion Strike to draw into a card. I was hoping to draw into some sort of block, which is why I did it in that order. But given that we didn't, let's play Orbit this turn. And Astral Pulse and Anticipate just for the extra damage here. Take a big hit this turn as well, but the enemy's not attacking for that much in this coming turn. So here I can go Astral Pulse, Collision Course, Burst, Defend, and that is 17 incoming damage, so I need to defend again. Finally drew Anticipate alongside Block, and it did not... It again was useless, because we're only taking 6 damage this turn. But let's go ahead and... I should use my Vulnerable Potion earlier as well. This fight I have played pretty badly, I think, also, just for the record. So now we're just hoping to draw into enough damage cards so we can kill the enemy this turn, which it looks like we should be able to. So we'll play Falling Star. Let's start with Be Gone, and I'll transform the Glow or Well-Laid Plans at this point, because we're just trying to end the fight quickly. And I'll play Crush Under, and then Sovereign Blade. And I could get away with that because we have Orbit, so we're getting the energy back. So definitely some misplays in that fight. I probably could have had a lot more health, but we got there. All right, so here, this is perfect. So we're looking for cards that either let us weaken and add vulnerable to the enemy. Monarch's Gaze is a card I like a lot as well, but given that we have infinite stars, we're just looking for basically the most star expensive cards that we can find. Decisions is amazing. This gives you great blocking turns, helps you cycle through your deck really fast, so that's what we're going to take out of this boss pile. And on into Act 3, let's see what we've got from the Ancient here. So, we have, at the start of your turn, gain 7 block. This is really helpful, given that we are kind of struggling with blocking in this deck. So I'm very happy to take the Sai here. Throwing Axe is also really good. Now, the downside of Throwing Axe is you don't really need to double cast Sealed Throne, but it is still pretty powerful. And, doubling the damage of some attacks could be good, especially if I had taken the Comet. Since I didn't, I think I'm going to pass on that, and we're just going to take Sai. This deck has struggled to maintain its health, so getting a relic that helps with that is going to be really powerful. Taking a look at our pathing here, well, we're obviously not going to the left. That's 6 fights in a row, and they're all hallway fights. So Going up this path, we're also going to avoid that. I wouldn't mind doing one shop, though I need a little bit more money to be able to remove a card. So I could do, for example, 2 fights and then a shop going this way. I like that more than this central path here. So we're definitely not going to the left, and we're definitely not going down the middle. So I think I like the right-hand path as basically the only viable option for this run. Given that we have 11 block on the first turn of combat just for free from our relics, and will continue to get block as the fight goes on, we should be in pretty good shape to just play a lot of attacks most of the time. So let's start with Sealed Throne, of course, and then we'll play Big Bang, and then I'll go Solar Strike, and I'll just play the Sovereign Blade here. Get the Ascender's Blade out of the deck. Oh yeah, we also always trigger Parrying Shield, which is kind of fun as well. So here I've got 10 block, 12 incoming damage, so that is something that I could play a little bit differently. Let's start with Black Hole. I could Begone something. The problem with that is that I always want to play the Astral Pulse here. I could burst the Begone, and then we would be able to transform just the Minion Strike twice, because it would transform Defend and then transform again. I could Begone the Burst, and then, while obviously we don't get to double cast it, it does let us draw into another card, and I do want to play the Defend. So I think that's going to be the plan. And then we'll play this, and then, although I do like the Well-Laid Plans, I would definitely like to get that into play. I'm just going to focus on taking the smallest amount of damage possible every turn. And then here, we now have Decisions. So I'm going to play that, and then we get to triple cast another card. So I'll triple cast, I guess, just the Anticipate here. And that way, when I play 1 Defend, we have 20 block, which isn't quite enough to defend everything, but with Crush Under, it is. So let's play Orbit, Crush Under, reducing the enemy strength by 2, and then I'll play a Defend, and that gives me 20 block to block 19 damage, which is perfect. And then this turn, I drew into some of my damaging cards, so we can go Black Hole first. We have 1 extra energy this turn, thanks to Orbit. We can play Glow, drawing a card here. Oh, I could have played Cosmic Indifference first and drawn into something a little better, but it doesn't actually matter because we win the fight. But that was something to pay attention to. Alright, so upgraded Glitter Stream, I don't mind that much, though in this case we don't really need it because we have the Psy, so we no longer really need to add blocking cards to our deck. Hidden Cache is a very good card overall, but we have the Sealed Throne upgrade, so we don't need it. And Photon Cut, I do like Photon Cut. If this was upgraded, I might add it to the deck, because chaining through by drawing cards is something we're very interested in, but since it's not, I'm going to skip it. 21 damage incoming this turn, but Crush Under should fix that. So we'll start with Sealed Throne. I'll play the Crush Under first. No, so I want to play Falling Star before I play Crush Under, and I guess I'm always playing Glow here. So I'll play the Glow, and then I'll play play Falling Star. Weakening this enemy, we'll play Crush Under. Basically, I wanted to do more damage. Though, as it happened, I should have hit the one that didn't have a bunch of block. I thought, for whatever reason, I was thinking I had 1 more energy here and could then play Crash Landing. But since that wasn't the case, then I did the ordering badly that turn. So here I can go Burst into Big Bang, which is exactly what we're going to do. Regaining the energy that we spent on Burst and drawing more cards and everything. And then I'll get Black Hole set up. I'll play Cloak of Stars. We have 17 block for 21 incoming damage, so I do need to play 1 more Defend. Let's play Well-Laid Plans, we'll play Defend, and we'll play Strike. And then I have Well-Laid Plans, so I can retain cards as well. I would like to upgrade my Well-Laid Plans in order to make it a little more useful. Let's play the Black Hole first. And Astral Pulse, killing the enemy. I guess we'll play the Anticipate, because might as well. Guiding Star, or do I want to play Sovereign Blade? Literally doesn't matter. Let's just play some cards. And there we go. All right, so Begone Plus is also fine. I don't really need 2 of this effect, though, especially because this has not ended up as a combo deck that kind of loops through all of its cards and uses Begone to thin a lot. So I think here we're just skipping, and then with 150, I can remove a card, so I'm going to go to the shop, and we'll see if there's anything I want. Failing that, I'll just remove a card. Oh, I wish I could afford the Bag of Prep. Bag of Preparation is one of the best possible relics that you can buy, I think. Candelabra would also be pretty nice. Energy efficiency is something that we're kind of struggling with here. But let's just go ahead and remove this strike. It is still better, I think, overall to remove the strike than the Crash Landing, even though I don't really want either in the deck. But Crash Landing can come up sometimes. Alright, so the Globe Head is pretty rough for us. Also, yeah, we got a fight in a question mark room, which always feels bad. Something that I feel very strongly about this for Slay the Spire 2 right now is that they really need to rebalance the hallway fights so that it isn't just a pure penalty to ever see these hallway enemies. And especially because it feels so punishing when you find one randomly in a question mark room. Okay, well, I definitely want to get the Sealed Throne down, and I want to get the Defend down. And I want to play the Black Hole. It is a little unfortunate that I won't be able to decisions this turn, because I am just not going to have enough stars to do that. But given that we're always going to take a bunch of damage against the Globe Head here, it's just a super dangerous enemy for a character that's reliant on powers like this one. Better just to tank the damage immediately and then focus on killing it quickly. I'll play the second Black Hole here, and we'll play Falling Star, play Anticipate, play Astral Pulse. I can play Cosmic Indifference, putting a card back on top, and now I can pick up Decisions, which we'll be able to play next turn. And then we've got 12 incoming damage. That's perfect. So let's play... Do I want Solar Strike or Guiding Star? I guess Guiding Star. Drawing extra cards next turn. Blocking all the incoming damage there. And then here I can go Burst, Big Bang. I could play the decisions, though I want to... I guess it literally doesn't matter what I play. I can play any card. Okay, Alignment is perfect. We have a lot of ability to cast cards if I have the energy for it, and the energy here, or the star cost, is free, again, so we're definitely taking Alignment. Gatherlight and Know Thy Place are also 2 premium cards for this character, but Alignment is the obvious pick here. If I go to the right, I can still take a lot of campsites before the end of the game. I could also go left here if I want to skip out on some elite fights if I'm not feeling confident. The question is, I could just go to this campsite and just get a relic without fighting an elite, though, because we have the shovel. So I think I'm just going to do that. Because while there are some, obviously there's more rewards. Well, that relic was useless. Obviously there's more rewards than just the relic from the elite, but that's the main one. Our deck is already fairly well set up, so I don't need more cards. So I'm just going to conserve my health by just grabbing the relic from the campsite. So here, I could trade Fencing Manual for Bronze Scales. I don't want to do that. I could trade Gorget for Pen Nib. Definitely don't want to do that, though doubling the damage of our 10th attack is good, but Gorget is a pretty important component of our setup here. Or I could trade Tiny Mailbox for Lucky Fish. Neither of those really matter. I would rather have Tiny Mailbox, of course, because it is a little more relevant, but I definitely don't want to lose these two, so I'm just going to take the Lucky Fish here. A Relic Trader that was mostly a downside, but what can you do? Gambling chip, that's great. Being able to discard my starting cards in order to draw into my more powerful cards is exactly what this deck is looking for. And then I'll head here. Are there any cards I really want to upgrade that I want to upgrade more than a relic? So, for example, I could upgrade Alignment for 3 energy. I could upgrade Well-Laid Plans to retain 2, though we're not cycling the deck enough to make this super powerful. I could upgrade Burst, which is pretty good. I could upgrade Big Bang, making it innate. That would also be reasonable. I could upgrade one of my black holes just for more damage. I think I'd rather just dig here, and we'll just get another relic. All right. It is a little worse to have gotten the strawberry than to have rested, just because I would get more HP from resting, but this is fine as well, and then we'll go fight this elite. We got the Spectral Knight. So here, I'm going to definitely keep Sealed Throne. I'm going to discard... I think these... We'll keep Cosmic Indifference just to block some of the damage, because it's my best defensive card. Okay, so this is an okay reshuffle. Not an amazing one, but it's fine. We'll play Sealed Throne. We'll play Big Bang. We'll see what we draw. I could burst Glow. We have 11 block and 23 incoming damage, so I do need to block a little bit more. I could burst Cosmic Indifference, and then we could redraw, like Collision Course, for example. Let's start with Glow, I think, and we'll see what we draw. Alright, I think it is worth taking a little bit of damage to get Orbit into play, so I'm going to play the Orbit, and I'll play Cosmic Indifference, and then I will put Be Gone back on top, try to remove some cards from the deck. Now, the Spectral Knight will allow us to remove cards, but this should let us cycle. So here, I'm going to play Black Hole to start with, and I'll play Anticipate, I'll play Falling Star on the Spectral Knight, I'll play Decisions, drawing a bunch of cards, and then I'm going to triple cast Be Gone. And we'll transform this Defend. I'll transform Guiding Star and Solar Strike, I think. No, I'll transform Crash Landing. And I'll transform Solar Strike. And that way I've gotten all these minion strikes so we can redraw a bunch. Let's play Astral Pulse. Minion strike the Spectral Knight. Replay Black Hole. Okay, definitely bad ordering there as well, where I should have drawn first, because I could have had Black Hole in play for more of these card plays. Minion strike. Every time I cast a card, it's 6 damage, and I'm definitely casting 4 cards, so I don't need to hit the Spectral Knight anymore. So I can start hitting the Magi Knight here. Draw all of those. I'll play the Crush Under. And then I'm going to play 2 more cards this turn. So we'll play Guiding Star on this enemy. And there we go. And now you can see how powerful this deck is when it gets rolling. The combo potential for just one-shotting an entire group of enemies is really high. Unsettling Lamp. That works well with our Fallen Star. And our Crush Under as well. It's fine with. I could take Pale Blue Dot. We will usually be playing 4 more cards, but I think having this card in my deck is just... I don't want to draw it most of the time. Then we will go to the campsite. Do I want a relic? I think we can get 1 more relic here. Okay, Vambrace is very helpful as well. That'll just give us a little bit more opportunity to block. Here... I'll keep the Black Hole and the Sealed Throne, and I think I am discarding everything else. These being my 2 most important cards, of course. Let's start with Sealed Throne, and then I'll play the Black Hole. And then I'll play Cosmic Indifference here, and I'll put, I guess, the Astral Pulse back on top. Playing that for 0 is always going to be fine. Then I'll play my Fallen Star. Now... we actually have 25 block as well, because we had the Vambrace doubling our block, so we don't take any damage this turn from the Mecha Knight, which is nice. This turn, let's start with Orbit, Well-Laid Plan, or and then I'll play Begone on the Venerate, which is a card we don't need, and we'll redraw. And then I'll play Well-Laid Plans and Astral Pulse. We can retain the Defend here. This turn, I can play everything. I don't actually want to cast Alignment, because then I can't cast Decisions. So let's start with a Defend, Defend, Defend. Play Decisions, drawing 3 cards, and we'll see what skill I want to triple cast. What did I get in hand? Solar Strike and Guiding Star, so let's just triple cast the Alignment here. Which, with Decisions casts that without the star cost, so we actually are star positive on that. And then I can play Solar Strike and Guiding Star here. And we have plenty of block, I'll end turn. And we can retain our Cloak of Stars. Now, this turn, I can start with Black Hole. Then I want to weaken the enemy, so I definitely want to play Crush Under before Falling Star, because that way I would, I'd be able to have the -2 strength remove the artifact, and then Falling Star will weaken it. So let's still start with Big Bang, drawing into another card. We'll see what we get off of that. Okay, we got a Begone. So I'll play the Begone on this Burn. And that's one of the reasons I really like having Begone in the deck, is you get to turn curses into good cards. Though in this case, we just redrew another Burn. We're always playing Anticipate. We're always going to play Crush Under here to remove the artifact. We'll play Falling Star. And we'll play Defend, Cloak of Stars, and Collision Course. And then I can play the Debris as well. And we get to block most of the incoming damage. Redrawing a second Burn there was pretty unlucky, but obviously not that big a deal. And then here I can go... I'll start with Glow. Well, so I'm going to play Cosmic Indifference. So I could burst Glow, or I could burst Alignment. I guess bursting Glow is better, because Alignment should let me cast most of the stuff that I draw anyways. And then we'll play Alignment here. I'll play Guiding Star, damaging the enemy, and then we can kill it with the Sovereign Blade. Alright, so we took a little damage there, which is fine. Star Potion, I guess, is better than the Ampoule. And then Anchor, I mean, now we start every combat with 21 blocks, so I just never have to play block on the first turn. Conqueror is kind of interesting here. Do I want that? What boss am I facing? I'm against the Queen. So I do kind of want to be able to one-shot enemies with my Sovereign Blade. Begone can also be useful. The Queen does have some status effects that it gives you. But I think here I'm again just going to skip. Then we'll go take this fight. And what do I want to get rid of? I guess I'll definitely be getting rid of those 3. I'll keep the Begone, I think, just to make my deck a little stronger. And I'm fairly happy that I did. We can play Sealed Throne. We can play Black Hole. We can play Big Bang. Play another Black Hole, which is great. And then I think Begone on Crash Landing is still better, even though putting the Debris in the deck mostly doesn't matter. This way I want to be able to draw. I could have Begone the Cloak of Stars, but redrawing into it seemed pretty helpful. Let's go ahead and hit the enemy here, and I guess I'll play Anticipate and Cloak of Stars as well. It does waste my Vambrace trigger, but it's also plus 12 damage to each enemy, so that's a lot of damage. Then this turn, let's go Astral Pulse to start with, and I can Burst Defend. Again, just a double cast for 12 damage to everything. And then we can Guiding Star here, and we can Collision Course, and we one-shot that encounter. Well, two-shot, but two-turned that encounter. Do I want another Cloak of Stars? I think a Cloak of Stars is pretty worth adding to the deck going into the boss fight here. And then I could grab a relic, but let's just do a rest. We'll just have a little bit more safety when we rest here, and then we're going on to the boss fight. We'll replace Ascender's Bane, Crash Landing, Defend, and Sovereign Blade. I think I'll replace Crush Under as well. The enemy's not multi-attacking this turn, so our Gambler's Chip can just draw us into better stuff. Hopefully find our black holes and whatever faster. Obviously, we'll drink our Liquid Thorns, because might as well have that. It doesn't do it, we can't bring it into the next game. We'll play Sealed Throne and Well-Laid Plans and Collision Course on this enemy, and then I'll play the Debris and just get rid of it, and play Astral Pulse as well. No need to play these defends, but we will retain one. So this enemy, of course, makes it so that we can only cast one of the first 3 cards that we draw every turn. Now here, what I can do is turn my Venerate into a good card by playing Begone. And the Minion Strike will not be cursed, so that's pretty helpful. Let's start by doing that, and then I'll play the Black Hole, which is exactly what I was hoping for. And I could play Solar Strike or Defend. I guess we'll play the Defend here. I can just play both, actually. We'll play Alignment and we'll play Solar Strike. And I'll wait to use my Star Potion until I have both Black Holes in play as well. And we get to retain Falling Star. Well-Laid Plans is also very good against the Queen, because being able to retain cards means that you can get rid of the bound effect. Alright, so decisions I can do first. I kind of want to wait to cast that until I have Burst in hand, though. And I can retain decisions until I have Burst to double cast it. But I think it's better just to start right away, though. And then I can play Glow, making a bunch of stars and drawing even more cards. And then we've got 36 incoming damage, which is definitely a lot. But let me get Black Hole into play first, or Orbit first. Let's play the Orbit first. I'll play the Black Hole. I'll play the Falling Star on this enemy. So 27 incoming damage. I can play... what do I want here? I also really wish I had the upgraded Well-Laid Plan so I could retain Big Bang and Burst. But as is, I think I'm just going to play Burst first, and then Cloak of Stars. I could have played Cosmic Indifference to put something on top as well. Maybe it was better to put Alignment on top. Yeah, that actually would have been better. And then, because now I'm just playing like both Cloak of Stars, and I'll retain Big Bang here. Having extra energy next turn would have been more important. So, although we did happen to draw into the alignment anyways, but that was probably a sequencing error as well. Let's start with Big Bang. And I'll play the alignment, because I definitely am going to want to do that. This enemy is going to die no matter what. Let me play Guiding Star on the Queen, because drawing extra cards next turn is going to be the most important thing. Oh yeah, I'm also going to use my Star Potion, because we now have both Black Holes in play, so 6 damage to everything. Not that the stars themselves matter. And then Solar Strike, gaining some stars. Sovereign Blade, just for a little bit more damage. Collision Course for sure. We'll play the Debris as well. And then Defend and Cloak of Stars. And I'll retain Cosmic Indifference here. This turn, I'm going to start with Falling Star, and then I think I'm going to burst the Begone. Double cast that, and we can take Defend, and this Cloak of Stars is bound, but let's just get rid of... Oh, transform that Defend, and then I think I'll just transform both Defends. Because this Cloak of Stars I can still play this turn, I believe. And because I just transformed the Bound Defend. And then let's go with Minion Strike, drawing some cards. 25 incoming damage, by the way, so I can play Crush Under. And I don't get an Orbit energy back, but this does decrease the enemy strength. And then we can play Cloak of Stars, blocking almost all of the incoming damage. And I'll keep Glow here over Cosmic Indifference. Drawing back into my best cards is still the most useful thing we can do. And then, oh yeah, so I drew those cards off the Centennial puzzle. That was the first time I'd taken damage. So my bound cards are these ones. Let's start with Anticipate, Astral Pulse, and Glow. Falling Star, and Guiding Star, killing the Queen, and winning with a bunch of health left over. Alright, well that was sweet. We ended up with a really powerful combo deck in the end. Just absolutely obliterating everything. It really, I mean, this was really the sealed throne show. I think that this reward is absurdly strong, and it really demonstrates also why I think Black Hole is pretty good, because you just get a lot of damage. It's AoE damage, which is good in STS2 as well. So that is the run with the Regent as we continue to climb the ranks. And I also think that this was a good run for showcasing some of the new stuff as well. We got to play with the newly buffed Crush Under, the newly buffed Collision Course. I think Cosmic Indifference was changed as well, and Solar Strike was changed. So a lot of these cards that just got like minor boosts to their damage or their numbers in terms of how much block or how much damage they do are now much more pickable on the Regent, and I think it really gives you a sense of how this character can play more standard than it used to be able to, where it used to just be trying to combo with Glow and alignment every single run. But you can now just kill enemies using attacks and defends. That's a totally viable playstyle, which I think is great. I think that this is the character where the recent patch had the most positive effect, so I really enjoy it. All right, my friends, I hope that you have enjoyed this run with the Regent, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit that like button. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Slay the Spire 2 and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.